So RIP to him, and blessings to his family, and anyone that's sick or not doing so well. We put you in our prayers. We pray for the whole HRI family, even those who try to be on the sidelines. Okay, so we get it. We understand how it goes. All right. So again, let's get into it. Hello, everyone. I'm Brother Hashar Namar. Before I begin, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Mashak Yahweh Shai, and double honors to the elders of HOI, Elder Zabak, Elder Torah, Elder Sabal, to Deacon Shawapar, and the Captain Ariala, and to all senior men and men who was putting in this work, as well as you princesses. I'd like to say Shalom and Shalom, Shamar. Khan. All right. So Shalom Israel. All right. Here's another Iron Sharpen Iron class. This evening, we wanted to touch on like the chaos that's going on in the world. So we're thinking of a topic, because I believe people are starting to panic. Um, you know, during these times that we're in, and as many brothers have touched on, we will also touch on it as well, and sisters as well that's out there, you know, bringing in, the daughters of Zion. We haven't forgot about you guys. And so the sisters that's putting in that work, you know, that's the water. And so tonight's topic is is the world going mad? Is the world going mad? Now we see what's going on in the world. Um, there's a lot of stuff that's, perplexing people. People are like, oh man, we got Trump in there. You know, they act like Trump is Hitler or what's that dude name from Russia? Oh, I'm having a brain fart. He killed
Salaki,
hundreds.
Putin.
No, not Putin. The other guy. He was an old Russian guy. He killed a lot of Stalin. But
Uh,
yeah, you talk about Putin too. Putin as well, but Stalin, because Stalin killed way more people than Adolf. But you know, I'm just naming a few, different people. Um, just like you got that dude named Charlemagne. They call him Charlemagne the, I can't say it because that dude's an idiot. But Charlemagne, if you go back, that dude, he was from the Romans. He was something else. He was devious. He was up there around Antiochus, you know. And so he was a wicked man, a guy named Charlemagne. Not the guy from Breakfast Club, but he took his name, which is crazy. But anyway, so again, is the world going mad? And so we got a quick scripture. Is the world going mad? Have we seen this before? What's going on? Talk to me, brothers. This is crazy. I mean, Trump is this, and they bringing all these brothers to the inner cities, and ICE is everywhere. Listen, things is what it is. Things could be worse. Um, and everybody says that one thing. Oh well, if it's not affecting you, then don't worry about it. But we're here to say no. The world is not going mad, not at all. People makes the world mad. People are off. And here's some scriptures. Don't take it from me. Let's talk about it. All right. So let's go to let's get Job chapter 9 verse 24. Book of Job chapter 9 verse 24. We're going to go down a few scriptures because I want Israel to understand like no, this is perilous times, but there's always been this, okay? So don't think this is it. So let's get the book of Job chapter 9 verse 24. Baba Shah.
this is the book of Job, chapter 9, and verse 24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where? And who is he?
So, you know, this is during perilous times. Job went through a lot. He was tested by the Most High, and then the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? You know what I'm saying? So these people that take over us, they continuously cover images and become our judges, and always, always cover their faces. They're always trying to dot their I's and cross their T's. Let me get Second Esdras chapter 15, verse 6. Barbecue shop. I think that's the right one. Yes. Yeah, Khan. Second Esdras chapter 15, verse 6.
Gone. This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 6, like chapter 15 and verse 6. For
Khan.
wickedness, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled.
Khan. So this is Esdras. So we all know the Apocrypha, right? This is when we were underneath the captivity underneath the Greeks, correct? So you have the Old Testament that has the Egyptians, the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Medes and the Persians, right? Then you start to get into the Apocrypha, which has the Greek captivity going into the Roman captivity, which goes right into the New Testament. All right. That's how it's broken down. All right. So again, that's under them, that's under the Greeks, So for all of y'all who are, you know, are what is that stuff called? Skeety weed and ply my all them pledges and stuff like that. I.S.I, you know, you're pledging under this false notion. Okay. It's wickedness. All right, it's polluting the whole earth. Let's get First Maccabees chapter 1, um, verse 9. Because I want you guys to see throughout the Bible, there's nothing new under the sun. So if you out here stressed out and like, oh man, this is crazy. No, this was going on all the time. So First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 9, Baba Kishah.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 9. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth.
Evils were multiplied in the earth. We're still under the Greeks. It's talking about Alexander when he died. All right, and he had the four kings and stuff like that. And so wickedness multiplied. All right. As we can see, wickedness multiplied. But you say, yeah, brother, but that was then, this is now. It wasn't like that in the beginning. Everybody was, rubbing bunnies and, just singing along, like the hippies, right? Well, let's see what Genesis say. Let's get the book of Genesis, chapter 6, verses 5 through 8. Baba Kushah.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 5, beginning at verse 6. And Seth lived 105 years and begot Enos. And
Hold on.
Seth,
Like it. Genesis chapter 6. I'm sorry, my bad. Genesis chapter 6, verse 5 through
5.
8.
Yeah, Salaki. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 6, and verse 5. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth.
Like it. Say that again, brother.
The wickedness of man was great in the earth,
Mm.
and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repeated the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air. For it repenteth me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord.
God, but Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. All right. So it's in the beginning, guys, and God saw that wickedness of man was great in the earth. And then you're gonna say, "Oh, brother, yeah, but we wasn't given the commandments, and everybody was running around having polys and orgies, and they was partying. It was first Fridays. You know what I'm saying? They was going to the because anybody can find a reason to drink, right? Because everywhere in the world, you know, it's always Miller time. No matter where you at in the world, you can always celebrate that it's Miller time somewhere, right? So it says it right here, right? This is Genesis. It's the book of Genesis, the first book. So there's nothing new. All right. So brothers and sisters, we get ready to get into it a little bit. So brothers and sisters, please don't worry about it. Is the world going mad? No, the world's not going mad. It's the people that's in the world. What did the Most High just say? And God saw that wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination and thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. You got dudes out here marrying dolls. This is crazy. And you got some of these robot dolls, they do look real though. They do
God,
look pretty real. But anyway, no folly. But you got these dudes trying to marry these ill. I don't understand. But hey, this is what it says in the Bible. So you can't stress out over this. So again, I say to you, brothers and sisters, oh well, that was Genesis, 6, but what about let's talk about it. When did he give us the law, statutes, and commandments? Let's get and remember, this has everything to do with the topic. Is the world going mad? The world that we live in, that we know of, it's only mad due to the fact of the people that's in here. So hopefully the scriptures that I'm reading to you will identify and bring some of you guys at ease of saying, oh, okay, it's just the people that's around me. Again, ladies, if you're running with hoes and you ain't a hoe, but you're running with them and you stop and you see a gentleman and you like, why he ain't coming to talk to me? That's because you have the uniform on as a hoe. If I'm running with a bunch of wolves, you know what I'm saying? No lady's going to stop and want to talk to me because I look like a wolf. Dave Chappelle said it the best. He was standing around in a fireman suit, and somebody said, "Hey man, it's a fire. Can you put it out?" He's like, "Oh no, I'm chilling." He's like, "But you got the uniform on." He was like, "Yeah, I know, but I just like to dress up as a fireman." So again, it goes back to the people of this world. It's making it wicked. All right. So let's get was there law, statutes, and commandments? Yes, there were. He gave it to Adam in chapter 2. So let's get Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, Baba Kusha.
God. Salaki, you even have people crashing out because their AI girlfriend broke up with
Oh my God, they programming to break up.
them. Their AI.
That's crazy. Wow. Oh man. I'm gonna try to Google that too. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna say that for the end of the class so we can watch that. That's hilarious. It got to be an Esau. Is it Esau that he did the crashing
God,
out?
God. Yeah, God. It was one that even committed suicide.
Oh wow. That's crazy. Salakia. Kind of thirsty, Salakia.
God.
Yeah, that I don't want to laugh.
You got to.
That's I can't even. You done studied me. We may have to talk about this. So hold on, hold on. Don't they download the software for those girls? Or that's crazy. I can't. That's crazy. That's wild. That's wild right there. Man, you got me. You took me off guard with that one.
Oh, Salaki. My
Whew.
bad on that.
Nah, that's good to know. That is great. I would not. Oh my God, I'm
It's
I'm a
real.
mama.
It's real out there. Well, at least they think it is.
Weird, because I mean, I seen the stuff on TV and all this stuff, and I think RIP to brother Shemaiah, he brought that out one time about I think it was him that brought it out about people loving the dolls and marrying them, especially the ones that's with the anime stuff. That anime stuff is crazy. But wow, that's crazy. People killing themselves. Mm, mm, mm. Con, Con. Sorry, Israel. Brother shook me up on that one. That caught me by surprise right there. Um, Con. Well, the water for the information. Let's get the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 7. Because again, we talked about chapter 6. Some of you brothers and sisters don't realize that we were given these laws, statutes, and commandments, okay, in the book of Genesis. So let's prove that. Let's get Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, Baba Kasha.
No, it's the book of Genesis, chapter 2, and verse 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul.
Kind. So there you go, brothers and sisters. Now we got some more scriptures now, all right, to prove that. So when he breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, that's giving him the understanding, the 613. Now you're like, man, how can he just come on? Use common sense, brothers and sisters. He put him to sleep. He went ahead and he talked to him. Like the brother brought out, HOI Philly. He will instruct you into your dreams. In the book of Job, it tells you, he puts you to sleep, and he give you all them instructions. Now you're saying, well, brother, how can he remember? Listen, it's the most high. The earth is his footstool. Stop questioning stuff you can't fathom. The same way you talk to your kids, if you have children, or you talk to your nieces and nephews, the same way the Most High feel. Don't question him. You know what I'm saying? Don't question his gangster. He got this. He made us. We didn't make him. We're too. We don't know, and we cannot even fathom to know. You know what I'm saying? How he make a insect that looks like a twig. You know what I'm saying? How he makes a plant that can literally eat a man. How he makes this what's that thing called? That little bad animal. Man, what's that thing called? That even the lions are scared of him. This little short
Right,
animal.
the honey badger.
Yeah, the honey badgers. Woo, them Jones is bad. You know, and they will stand their ground. They ain't running. They've been raised since babies. No, you ain't running. You're gonna stay there.
Hmm.
you know.
Uh,
So if y'all don't know who the honey badger is, yeah, go ahead and Google it. That's a bad animal right there. He ain't taking no L's. All right. And I can keep going on and on and on. But so again, this is us getting the breath of life. So let's further expound on it. Now, again, we stand in the subject because the subject is called "Is the World Going Mad?" And we want Israel to understand, no, the people of this world, it's making us mad, but there's nothing new under the sun. So don't go into a panic. You think everybody's house is going to get raided. They don't have the logistics. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the means of doing that. And they don't have furthermore, they don't have the green light from the Most High. That's what we basically trying to explain to you guys. So let's get Second Esdras, chapter 3, verse 15 through Salakia. What is that? What did I put in here? Hold on. I think it's chapter 3. Oh, it's chapter 14. My bad. Um, Second Esdras, chapter 14. Hold on, Salakia. Give me a second. Give me a second. The way I copied this thing, I messed it all up. Salakia. Salakia, Israel. Give me a second. Oh man, I was flowing. Here we go. And hold on, I'm trying to find it real quick. Second Esdras. Second Esdras. Oh, hold on. Okay, Salakia. I did read it right. Okay, I'm having a brain fart. Second Esdras, chapter 3, verse 5 through 15. The water.
Con. This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 3, beginning at verse 5. And he gave his body unto Adam without a soul, which was the workmanship of thine hands, and did
Salakia. Salakia. So you guys heard that. He gave his body unto Adam without soul. Continue, Salakia.
Con, which was the workmanship of thine hands, and did it Salaki, and didst breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee. And thou leadest him into paradise, which thy right hand had planted, before ever the earth came forward. And unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way, which he transgressed. And immediately thou appointest death in him and his generations, of whom came nations, tribes, peoples, and kindreds out of number. And every people walked after their own will, and did wonderful things before thee, and despised thy commandments. And again, in process of time, thou broughtest the flood upon those that dwelt in the world, and destroyest them.
Salakia. So you guys get that. And verse 7, unto him thou gavest commandment, all right, to love. That's the 613 commandments, okay? And every people walk after their own will and did wonderful things before thee and despised thy commandments. Is the world going mad? No. They want to do what they want to do. Come on now. You know how we get down. We came out of the wilderness. You know, Moses went up to Mount Sinai and they up there melting gold chains and putting it around, or melting the gold and putting it around their necks and in
Yeah.
their teeth. You know what I'm saying? Israel crazy. You know this is you know this book about us. You know what I'm saying? I got a cousin like that. Nah, I'm playing. Go ahead, continue out.
Verse 9. And again, in process of time, thou broughtest the flood upon those that dwelt in the world, and destroyest them. And it came to pass in every them, Slaki, in every of them, that as death was to Adam, so was the flood to these. Nevertheless, one of them thou leftest, namely Noah with his household, of whom came all righteous men. And it happened that when they that dwelt upon the earth began to multiply, and had gotten them many children, and were of great people, they began again to be more ungodly than the first. Now, when they lived so wickedly before thee, thou didst choose thee a man from among them, whose name was Abraham. Him thou lovest, and unto him only thou showest thy will, and madest an everlasting covenant with him, promising him that thou wouldest never forsake his seed.
Fine. All right. So hopefully everybody understands the linear that scriptures that I put. Okay. So again, he gave it to Noah. He was like, all right, my sons, you know, Ham, Shem, Japheth, we're gonna do good things. Wrong. They begin again to be more ungodly than the first. So again, Israel, is the world going mad? No, it has not. So don't go ahead like, man, I ain't following the truth, man. Let me go ahead and spark this or whatever. I don't even know if they sparking anymore. I guess they be smoking the little pipes now and vaping and stuff like that. Yeah, the vape. Let me go ahead and vape this. Okay. So listen, we almost there. I mean, I don't know when. Nobody knows when, but it feel like almost is soon enough. All right. So you just gotta hold off. Unless the most high want to take you up there, you know, to that third heaven, then it is what it is. But while we here on earth, we have to love on each other. We have to hearken these commandments. I mean, it's in the pudding. It's we done went over like what 3 different times. You done wiped this out. All right, or in the scriptures, where as though not wipe this out, but one time he wiped this out, but whereas though there's multiple times he wiped this out, but again, you can see when it get too wicked, the end is near, and we all saying it right now. Like we see that guys are crashing out over AI dolls, and somebody just committed suicide. That's crazy. You know, you have daughters shooting their moms 17, 15 times in the face. You have all them black, officers and lawmen down there in Atlanta, and it's one of the worst cities in America right now, as far as how they treat other blacks, is that's in prison. I mean, I used to live there. Everybody in there black. And it's like you would think everybody would want to go to jail there. That's like the black utopia. Wrong. You know what I'm saying? You give these brothers a job, being a police officer, and they abuse it. And who wants to be a police officer from the jump? I don't know nobody I went to high school with that's a cop. I mean, I'm sure there maybe one or two people, but again, um, most people say I want to be a detective or a lieutenant or something. Who wants to be an officer for 25 years? If you have been an officer and you're on this call, that's not shots out to you. But again, why stay being a sergeant when you can, do greater things and just see the whole thing? Why join the army and just want to be a sergeant or want to be a private? Be a sergeant major, go be a chief, go, same thing in the Air Force, the Marines. Why always want to be in the bottom? And I tell you, that's one thing our people have a problem with, and that's being a supervisor or manager. We always just want to be left alone and just skate through. And this is what this class is about. Is the world going mad? But you want to know, make yourself known. You ain't got to be on social media. But what I mean by make yourself known, keep following these laws, statutes, and commandments. Make yourself known to the Most High. Make yourself known to people out there. Spread this word out. The more, um, the more people we plant the seed in, the sooner these prophecies come. That's just what it is. We reap what we sow. So hopefully you guys got a little understanding of, when things started, and that there's nothing new under the sun. There's always been wickedness since the book of Genesis. Christians, they try to paint that, but no, we're here to tell you, as Hebrew Israelites, yeah, there was wickedness all through this Bible. All right. So I got a couple videos for you guys. And this first video is just about it's just going into some things that I want to talk about how they're pushing this media thing, how this fake media, this fake riot, like well, I'll show you the video and then I'll walk you through it. Salakia. Because everything they do, guys, is planned because they want to woo the people. This is why I say every time, this is why people went out to go buy toilet paper because we was wooed. Hold on, where's my video at? Salakia. All right. Oh man, see, I did that again. Lord in Christ. All right. Give me a second. I took off my video. I gotta find it one more time. Salakia. Salakia. Let me go to my history. Okay. Got that one. Salakia, give me a second.
Build a website you love with Wix. George Floyd's death.
Okay, not that one. Salakia. Yeah, for some reason my little Google went down. I had my little videos on standby, and somehow it got um exited. So give me a second. I just got to go in my history and get it. Salakia. Okay, this one.
For the third week of protests over George Floyd's death. Right here at 11.
Okay, there's one more. I got my two. I gotta find my third one. Salakia, Israel. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I'll tell you, it's always something. Sitting up here, I'm up here, can't get my little videos going. Been prepping this thing. And as soon as I go live, all right, so I got it. Give me a second. What's this one here? I don't think this is it. Oh, that's right. Hold on. Shalakia. I sent it to myself. Give me a second. Yeah. This is my bonus one right here. This one is pretty wild. And like I say, this one, everybody heard about this one. Mhm. All right. So let's play these videos. And okay, right now. Why is it so big like that? Hold on, let me copy this. Salakia. All right, here we go. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna play the first video after this commercial. Okay, here we go. Okay.
Demonstrators are taking.
All right. Salakia, Salakia. Yeah, I think this is it. Okay. All right, let me share it. All right. I'm sharing it right now. Salakia, Israel.
In their message beyond big cities.
Yeah, to places like Bethel that are not used to these protests, and many don't want them there either. As you can see there, that's led to sometimes violent clashes, arrests, and tonight a curfew. Local 12's Brad Underwood joining us now live from Bethel, where many do not seem to want to have a civil discussion. Hey, Brad, what's the latest there?
Well, good evening, Kyle. Yeah, that certainly seems to appear to be what is happening in places like Bethel when you see these kinds of protests being taken from the city to the rural areas, to keep a clean version. It doesn't matter what you tell me, I'm not going to agree with you. It's kind of the message that protesters are greeted with, so to speak. But I will say this, I did talk to several people who are from Bethel, lived here for a very long time, and they were even telling me that they didn't recognize a lot of the faces on the anti-protest side. So here you've got large groups of people in both sides of this protest that may not be and are not from the Bethel area or even parts of Clermont County. But with that being said here, the Black Lives Matter protesters say a rural place like Bethel, a predominantly white community, this is the perfect place to take their message. From one side to the other. Bethel is yet again the backdrop of a Black Lives Matter protest and a counter protest that at times drowns everything out.
This is the old. It needs to be brought up to like the new generation, how it is now. They're living 100 years in the past.
Elena Barger and her two sisters are in the middle of it. They're from Bethel. They say they're sad this is the current state of their hometown and this country.
I've walked out here today and literally have been followed around by people that are so ignorant, walking around following me with guns, have to be surrounded by cops because it's too dangerous to be out here to speak up about somebody.
All right. So as you can see, now we all know about this whole Black Lives Matter. Now I'm gonna run down some things this Black Lives Matter thing. All right. So and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it needs to be addressed. Okay, the Black Lives Matter is as real as a hamburger and McDonald's. Okay, so the movement has been led through a decentralized structure with no single leader as of now. Before, it had three founders, that Alicia Garza, Patrice Colors, and Opal Tomiti. I think that's the training. I'm not really sure. Now, when you think about the Black Lives Matter, okay, we all know the activist who started this. His name was Darren Seals. Okay, he was a prominent Ferguson activist for Michael Brown back in 2014, right? The whole Michael Brown stuff, right? Everybody tracking with that? So the protesters from Ferguson in 2014. Darren Seals, he he was approached by some men, right? Now these are the same men that funded the three people in the LGBT community, the LGBTQ, X, Y, and Z, who founded BLM. So that's what's happening. He found some lesbians and a tranny, and he said, "Hey, I think I can say tranny, right? Transformer." He said, "Hey, I need y'all to go do what he do." So the activist Darren Seals, he spoke out about them, right? He spoke out about the Black Lives Matter. He used his Twitter and platform, to go on because Black Lives Matter was making millions of dollars in donations. And guess what happened to him? He committed suicide. He shot himself and burnt himself to death in the car on September 6, 2016. Crazy, right? So he shot himself. This dude, if this happened, this is everybody's hero. He shot himself and then said, "I'm gonna go out like a G," and set himself on fire in the car on September 6, 2016. And what really um it's again, this is the truth behind it. I just wanted to bring that out real quick because people keep forgetting with that Black Lives Matter, the whole thing with George Floyd and everything. A lot of that was like, it was like propaganda. Okay. It was the beginning to woo us. They came out with, I mean, how you gonna be led by lesbians and a transgender? First of all, lesbians, they're for women. Us transgender, this person has to have some mental illness. So therefore, we're led by these three. And you guys know the girl Candace Owens, who just said the most illest stuff about George Floyd. She's the reason why the BLM is pretty much non-existent. Because she did all the research. They was buying $1 million mansions and stuff like that. All right. And all you have to do is go on Google and it pops up. And the AI, I couldn't believe how quick it popped up. I thought I had to do a little bit more research because I got all my little different paperwork, different places, but it pops right up on AI. They was like, yeah, they was approached by this foundation, this $1 billion guy. Why would this $1 billion guy, a white man, want to start something called Black Lives Matter? Why would he want to start that? Because they was about to tear things up, you know. But the problem was, these brothers, they ain't moving with the Most High. Just like that one group, The one where the brother he shot the rifle by accident and he's in jail for like 20 years. That black group that had the weapons. Let me think of the name. I just thought of them. Salakia. Give me a second. All right. So that is the Proud, no, not the, yeah, the Proud Boys, right? Henry Terrio from the Proud Boys. He went ahead and he shot his weapon and now he's doing like 20 years in prison. All right. So again, I wanted to touch on the BLM because everybody's trying to follow that. And if you read on their sign, they're not for black men. I brought that out a while back. It's one of the old classes. So basically, brothers and sisters, just do your research on BLM. If you want to send donations, it's not going to anything. All right. It's not going to nothing. The guy that cuts my hair, his one of the guys working at the barber shop, his mom um is yeah, I think his mom is that's his cousin. George Floyd was his cousin and stuff like that. So he knows a little bit about what's all that stuff that was going on and how money was misused and stuff like that. So again, we cannot follow the whole point of that is we cannot follow this these people who are not Hebrew Israelites. And yes, not every Hebrew Israelite, I ain't saying the camps, I'm talking about Hebrew Israelites. Not every Hebrew Israelite is going to be following um, these scriptures, but just make sure if you're following a Hebrew Israelite that he or she has elders. I'll just put it to you like that. Because I keep hearing so many stories of women hooking up with a dude or a dude hooking up with a female and she's a Hebrew Israelite and he never see her wearing fringes and or she never see him wearing fringes and they never participate in nothing, but they keep saying, yeah, Shalom, brother, Shamar, sister. You know what I'm saying? And it's okay to be an individualite. Okay, we're not trying to take that away from you, brothers and sisters. But what we're trying to say is there's only so much you can learn on your own. All right. I mean, by the time you get to the ninth grade, 10th grade, you kind of got it, right? Like, I got this. No, you got to get certain credits to graduate, right? So if you out here as a Hebrew Israelite, man or female, you need to graduate. And you can't graduate by coming up with your own curriculum and self-therapy. Okay? Because you're out here tripping right now talking about the world's going crazy. Trump's a racist. All right, there's way more racist white men in this world than Donald Trump. There's white men right now that'll see you and cut your throat. There's little kids that'll see you and shoot at you and spit on you and call you the N word. Trust and believe me, they're out there, way worse than this man. No one is co-signing for Donald Trump. It's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is the world going mad? No, it's the people that surround it. So again, if you want to be a Hebrew, individualite, that's okay. Just make sure you tune in. You study with the brothers and sisters. I know there's a doctrine. Did anybody hear about this doctrine where our fringes is of Satan? The Khazar Empire was the ones that came up with these fringes, and now we're wearing Satan fringes. Anybody hear about that one?
Uh, no, I ain't never heard that.
Yeah, Khan. Yeah, my rib, she showed me that. And I was like, what is this? She showed me that stuff. I was like, what in the world? So I'm looking at it and I heard about it, right? Just because, like I said, when I first came in, I like to research because, again, I think I've stated many times, yes, I did serve this country at one point in time. Um, and I was a military intelligence analyst and I was a scout, a cavalry scout. The same people that chained us up and made us buffalo soldiers. Yeah, I was that guy. Um, but when I first came in, I trained up as a cavalryman. And then when I went to Texas, for a hood, if you guys know anything about politics, the Democrats never funds the military. I mean, we was walking to the field to go train. We was borrowing bullets from England. It was crazy. Anyway, so they was like, dude, we don't need no scouts right now. So they made me a they made me military intelligence analyst. And so I learned how to the different doctrines of different countries. I learned how to research all that stuff. Research what is their just different things of how to get to know a people. So for instance, when we went to Iraq, I got the Iraqi doctrine. So I know how they fought. So I was telling my guys, we would go out there, rehearse. I was a specialist doing this stuff. So what I'm trying to say is like when I came into this, I knew how to research and go back and study the different Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters and stuff like that, and try to figure things out. And I came across this doctrine, but because when my rib showed me, it looked familiar, but I didn't really, like it didn't catch me. And as I thought, I was like, oh yeah, I did see that. Where they say that fringes are from the Kaiser Empire when they converted to being to Judaism and all this other junk. And I was like, first of all, Esau don't got no swag. And even if they did, how come none of the so-called white Jewish people are wearing fringes? Why they wearing like dirty horse hair as Zeeks and stuff? That's what it looks like to me, dirty horse hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, why they wearing bra cups on their heads and stuff like that, right? So like nobody else wears but us. How we converted a people to be what they call Judaism, but yet we don't they don't wear there's nothing stating that they wore that. And like I look at their ancient clothing and stuff like that. Anyway, I ain't trying to get all into it. But Israel, listen, you're gonna come across thousands of doctrines. Okay, you're gonna come across brothers just under listen. I'm gonna just be real with you. Niggas is always trying to shortcut something. All right. The same way when you get cable, because some of y'all probably doing it right now. Some of y'all ain't paying no damn cable bill. Y'all paying that bull $25 or $50 to hook you up, and he'll be back in 6 months because they run the tests. I used to do it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never paid for cable. I just always got the dude to do it. Like I know the bull to know the bull. Like, hey man, you got me? You work for Comcast? Yo, how much? It used to be $25. Yeah, at one point, yeah, I was a nigga. You know what I'm saying? It used to be $25. I would buy food stamps, 50 cents for a dollar. You know what I'm saying? I think that, well, I don't know with the inflation. I don't know how much it is now. But back in the day, it was like for one food stamp was 50 cents. So you get somebody $100, that's 200 food stamps. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that changed. Not sure. But my point is, we've all been doing certain things. And once you become a Hebrew Israelite, you start to realize these are things that just keep you connected to that folly. Now, there's something wrong with doing the EBT thing. I don't really think so. I mean, if you need it, you need it. But if you ain't feeding your kids and you're doing it, to be on OnlyFans or go to the club or whatever the case may be, of course that's wrong. Okay. So again, this is what we encourage you. So I wanted to bring out that BLM because that was dirty what they did to that brother. He was shot multiple times, not just one. He was shot multiple times and set on fire. And they said that was a suicide. That's crazy. All right. So my second video is about one of the classes that we talked about. It's about Christopher Columbus, right? But I'm not really going to touch on that, of course. We just did a whole class on that. But it's a reason for the video. So let me go ahead and bring that out. Salakia.
All new for you tonight, right?
All right, there we go. Hopefully everybody enjoying the class. I had a few marginal errors. I'm sorry about that, everybody. I'm sorry about that. Keep you guys waiting. Somebody probably dropped off, man, this brother. All right, so let's play it.
At 11. That apple started it. You guys want to take it out on everybody. Wrong. An unexpected showdown in Waterbury, a Black Lives Matter demonstration visited by a group defending a statue of Christopher Columbus. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Matthew Campbell is in Waterbury right now where tensions nearly boiled over. It was dicey for a bit. Police even having to step between those supporting the Black Lives Matter movement and those supporting this statue. Tonight, this debate did get heated, but thankfully it remained just that, a debate between conflicting sides, no violence. Standing nearly face to face, Black Lives Matter supporters and supporters of Christopher Columbus squared off at Waterbury City Hall. The rally was intended to highlight racial inequality, shine a light on police brutality, make a plea to take down this statue of Christopher Columbus. Nearly an hour into the demonstration, more than a dozen riding motorcycles rolled down Grand Street, surrounding the statue. Their presence did not sit well with anyone there, and a handful made it known. So we have the right. And a handful made it known. So we have the right. Down Grand Street, surrounding the statue. Their presence did.
Y'all see that old guy right there? what he gonna do if they start fighting? Yo, this is crazy. I'll tell you, bro.
Not sit well with anyone there, and a handful made it known. So we have the right. We do too. Get up from here with the racist form. We asked one of the bikers why they decided to intentionally show up at this time.
We're standing trying to protect our statue. Why should they tear down our statue?
Police were always feet away watching, and after a tense 15 minutes, the rally continued on, with only a couple of people continuing to engage the motorcycle group. On this hot summer day, other Black Lives Matter demonstrators decided to walk over, offering an olive branch of bottled waters.
Be kind to your neighbor. To show them that you're as human as they are. They have their opinion, we have ours. So of course, if you want water, we're going to give you water. We're not here to hate, we're here to love and unite as one.
Yeah, that whole protest was stupid. That don't make no sense. So here we go, Israel. The reason why we brought that dumb video up. Here's just about the statue. Now, I ain't want to bring up all the videos of everybody fighting over these dumb statues and stuff like that. But this is what, these conquerors do. Me and my brother, we was having a discussion about explorers, and he broke it down to me. And it was like, yeah, they are like elite militia guys. The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. This dude and his word game, I thought rappers can spit. This dude be like, yeah, we're archaeologists. What's an archaeologist? It's a thief. Yeah, back in the day, yeah, such and such, Kennedy, his dad was a bootlegger. He sold drugs and murdered people. Like, these dudes' word game is just on point. You got archaeologists, you got explorers. Why would you? I mean, just like Dora the Explorer. You watch a little cartoon, right? Dora the Explorer. She always got like a little knife or a backpack or something, right? She's prepared. There you go, an explorer. This guy's come over here prepared. So the whole thing ain't about, Christopher Columbus dumb self. But like I said, there's nothing new under the sun, folk. They always like to make images and statues and murals, etc., of their conquests and reminders to the people they usually killed off, saying to you subliminally, we did this to you. So let's get First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 47 through 48. Baba Kusha. So we're going to talk about it. It's nothing new. And this is why we're bringing these scriptures out, Israel, because we want you. I know you look around, you see William Penn and what's that dude named Henry? What is John Hudson, the Hudson River, Ponce de Leon, Magellan, all these dudes, right? Statues everywhere. Cortez, Barboa. So let's get First Maccabees chapter 3, verses 47 through 48. Baba Kushak.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 3, beginning at verse 47. Did you say something out? Go. Beginning at verse 47. I thought you were saying something. Then they fasted that day and put on sackcloth and cast ashes upon their heads and rent their clothes and laid open the book of the law wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
Con. So even in the Maccabees, all right, they always sought to paint the likeness of their images. All right, this is what they do, and it's a program. This is why most people went out here buying toilet paper. Social media's been around forever. All right, Twitter's been. It was just different. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we did. Everybody act like them rotary telephones didn't communicate. You know what I mean? People died because of a telephone. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I understand we didn't have cell phones and stuff. Um, back in the 80s, like how it is right now. But word got around real quick. Word got around. When somebody got shot in your neighborhood, everybody knew. Was there Twitter? Was there what's that other one called? Instagram? What else is it? TikTok? Yeah. Was there Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram? No. But we all knew by the time we went to Omar got shot, right? Oh, man, for real? Yeah, Timmy shot him. Yeah, yeah. Damn. Yeah, he should have left his girl alone. Everybody knew this. You know what I'm saying? So there's always been a social media. And Esau know this. So he went ahead and started to paint the likeness of their images. Because we do know that our people, we always have like oral traditions, right? So word gets around, like we like to say, you newsy. You know what I'm saying? Why you so newsy, man? Mind your business. So let's go deeper. All right. Pause. Let's go with Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15. Now this is a long one, brother. Let's go. Um, Wisdom of Solomon, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15, verses 11 through 27. But read 11 and 12 first. Baba Kushak.
This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15, in the Apocrypha, beginning at verse 11.
Done.
For as much as he knew not his maker, and him that inspired into him an active soul.
Shalakia. Is that Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15, verse 11?
Come.
All right, hold on. I think I'm in 14.
Chapter 14?
Yes. Man, what is wrong with me? I'm having all these brain farts.
Come. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, beginning at verse 11. Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation, because in the creature of God they are become an abomination, and stumbling block to the souls of men, and a snare to the feet of the unwise. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them, the corruption of life.
Kind. So the Gentiles have always been like this. They always putting up these stupid images and these idols. It's becoming an abomination and stumbling blocks for the souls of men. Who the souls of men? It's the children of Israel. All right. So the wisdom of Solomon, as scholars say, was written in Alexandria, Egypt, right? Alexandria, Egypt, during the first century, right? Between like 31 and 10 BC. So that's like 50, 55 years before Christ. Okay. And it's talking about the Hellenistic time period. how it was out of control. Them Greeks were evil. And as I said earlier in First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 9, I'm paraphrasing, evils were multiplied just like Cain was considered the Esau prototype, aka first white dude. All right, Cain got the curse, he got the his skin, and man, oh man, such a brain fart. Um, because people think he had like a uh a mark on his forehead, right? But you can cover that. You know what I'm saying? So it took his pigmentation. All right. So let's get that real quick. Let's get where it talks about how Cain was just crazy. Let's get the book of Jude real quick. Hold that, hold Wisdom of Solomon, and let's get Jude chapter 1, verse 11. The book of Jude, chapter 1, verse 11.
This is the book of Jude 1 and 11. Woe unto them, for they have gone in the way of Cain, and ran greedily after the error of Balaam for reward, and perished in the gainsaying of Kor.
Con. So again, Cain, he was cursed with leprosy. He is the first prototype of what we call Esau, the first white man. And this dude was out of control. He was going around killing and dealing and willing. He's doing what Esau doing today. This is what they do. This is what they do. And then they start painting the statues and everything. I'm surprised they ain't got no statues and stuff. They probably do somewhere hidden. You know what I'm saying? So just like it said right here in Wisdom of Solomon, all right, they become an abomination and stumbling blocks to the souls of men. All right. They are just out of control. Out of control. Woe unto them that have gone in the way of Cain. That's that's like, man, I'm gonna send you guys into Egypt again, but this way by ships. This is how you know the Bible was written by us. Woe unto them, destruction unto them, for they have gone into the way of Cain. Once you go Cain, man, you can't go back. Now I know the brother name was Cain in the movie Menace to Society, but man, we all felt sorry for that brother. Cain was a wild stallion, boy. He was something else. And I think we all knew he was gonna die. It was sad. It was sad. But that brother was wicked. Now, old dog, I don't know. What you think? Old dog or Kane? Which one you think was way more wickeder?
Mm.
that's a
Wicked.
that's a talk. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, no,
That's
no.
a talk.
I'm just thinking, yeah.
Yeah, they was old dog and Kane, man. They was something else. But you know, it was a good movie. Some of you brothers and sisters, go ahead and watch that. It's a good movie. It really portrayed, even though it was Cali, that that hit home. I was like, dang, that's crazy. That's what's going on everywhere. The 80s and 90s and stuff like that. Um, I think it was the Wright brothers that wrote that. They did a pretty good it's a good movie. It's called Menace to Society. For anybody under here under 30, yeah, or under 40. Menace to Society, pretty good movie. Yeah, I'm trying to sound young. Yeah, if you're under 40, you may want to watch that. Menace to Society, good movie. But woe unto them, for they have gone in the way of Cain. Now, why would they put that in the Bible? Cain just slayed Abel, right? So that's all we supposedly know about him, according to Christianity. Cain slayed Abel and then ran off. It was only like three of them, or four of them: Adam, Eve, Cain, and Abel, right? And just Christianity. And he ran off and started making babies. Hold up, time out. Well, how was he making babies? You know what I'm saying? And then he started just destroying the world. Well, hold on, there's more people in the world. So Cain is that ruthless? He's making babies and then killing them. How they going to grow up to fight them? So that should just debunk this whole it was only four people in the world. But anyway, so like it. So woe unto them, but they have gone into the way of Cain. That's some slang right there. But if I ever heard one, that's a metaphor. They're going into the way of Cain. As Elder Terah always bring out, Cain was ruthless. He was going around the world just thrashing it. You know what I'm saying? Most High was like, yeah, I'm drowning you niggas. That's it. So, that's what happened. So where it says up here in Wisdom of Solomon, it says, God, they are become an abomination and stumbling blocks. The white man is such the devil that the Bible speaks of. I can't, this man is he's I can't say he's a good manipulator, and he will, you know, darn near talk you into anything if you don't think for yourself. And the reason why he got us thinking that we're black and we're African and this and that we come from nothing. As Hebrew Israelite, we're trying to teach you brothers. Is the world going mad? No. This world is trying to do a Kansas City shuffle. It's trying to fool you. It's been out of control. So don't think this ain't nothing. All right. It's going to be crazy perilous times. All right. So let's continue with Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14. Let's continue with 13 through 17. Baba Kusha.
Come. Wisdom of Solomon 14, beginning at verse 13. For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever. For the vainglory of men, they entered into the world, and therefore shall they come shortly to an end. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he hath made an image of his child, soon taken away. Now honor him as a god, which was then a dead man, and delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifices. Thus, in process of time, an ungodly custom, grown strong, was kept as a law. Engraven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings, whom men could not honor in presence because they dwelt far off. They took the counterfeit of his visits from far, and made an express image of a king whom they honored, to the end that by this their forwardness they might flatter him with that was absent, as if he were present. Also, the singular diligence of the artists.
Oh, right there. You can stop right there, Salakia.
Huh.
Yeah, stop at 17, Salakia. So I want to break it down. So verses 13 through 17, it's going to go all the way to 27, but I'm going to break it down for you, Israel. So as we're reading, this is talking about that white guy with the blonde hair and blue eyes with them gay sandals on. All right, this is talking about the image who we call Cesare Borgia. That is a real person. Now I know we preach this stuff all the time. You've never heard of it? Cesare Borgia. Some say Cesare Borgia. They even got a TV show called The Borgias. All right. So for by vainglory of men that enter into the world, and therefore shall they um, come shortly to an end. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he have made an image of his child soon taken, his father, all right, which is Pope, what's his name? Pope Alexander the Sixth. All right. So Cesare Borgia was a side baby. All right. He was an illegitimate son of Pope Alexander VI. His mother was Giovanna de Catane. Now, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to break down this scripture. So again, it's talking about the Pope. He wanted his son picture. So people, because remember, everybody, this is going into like where we're coming into the 16th, 15th century. This is in the 1500s. All this was taking place, okay? All right. This is, prophetic, okay? That he was going to create a custom. And that custom, because Christianity was already around, but it wasn't like Salakia. Let me see. How can I put it? It was even though Jesus wasn't born yet, but this is prophecy, okay? that once this is after Jesus, okay? This is before Jesus, but this is prophecy saying that this is what's going to happen, okay? And this happened in the 1500s. The picture was drawn in, I believe, 1503 or something like that. Cesare Borgia, who was portrayed as the Catholic Church, as Jesus, all right? So it's explaining to you right here that his followers are because his father died. And if you know anything about a pope is not supposed to have children, right? He's supposed to be, you know, a celibate and stuff like that. Don't be messing with nobody. But this dude has side babies. And guess what his side mama was called? The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Just just take a guess. Well, let me guess it for you. She was called a royal mistress. Are you serious right now? A royal mistress. And there's three titles to a royal mistress. There's an extramarital lover, a monarch, or a heir to a parent. Now, the extramarital lover, basically, she was a hoe. All right. She was a prostitute. All right. And he was just beating it down. And he had other kids. You know what I'm saying? And this is the Pope, Pope Alexander VI. All right. So he's the one that told his son to go ahead and take this picture. And Cesare Borgia, we all know he was um most men, we don't believe in bisexual. He was gay. You bang a dude, you're gay. So he was gay and he was incest because he was messing with his sister. So, and when you learn more about it, his brother mysteriously died. No, he killed his brother so he can take over his brother. His brother was in the military. So anyway, a general and stuff like that. So go ahead and indulge in that a little bit. So this is talking about how we was going to do this and they was going to make this a custom, that it was going to be a law. Remember, people, we're going to do this class on the Crusades. This all goes into it. Um, I talked to Captain Ariella about it, and we're definitely going to do this class on the Crusades. There's probably be like a part one and a part two, because once you guys understand this crusade, because that's like the missing piece. Not saying some of you guys don't, but this to me, it'll just bring it all home. You know, about why we have a image that's a so-called white man. Why, even though it tells you in the Bible, we have stone and wood, stone being the Islamic and the wood being the Christianity, why are we following this cross? Why they have movies of exorcism and it's always a white priest and is exorcism real and all this other stuff? I thought black men is the only one, you know. So I know people have a lot of questions. But again, this topic is the world going mad? No, the world that we live in, again, is going mad from the people that's over us. But if you continue to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments and stay away from this stupid images, these folly idols, then we can bring it home. You know, these curses will start affecting, you know, these heathen nations more and more and more. And then prophecies be set in ground or in stone, and then we can get up out of here, most high willing. So let's continue. Let's go Wisdom of Solomon 14, 18 through 27. Baba Kusha.
So I keep on now. Verse 18. Also, the singular diligence of the artificer did help to set forward the ignorant to move superstition. For the peradventure willing to please one in authority, force all his skill to make the resemblance of the beast fashion, Salaki, of the best fashion. And so the multitude, allured by the grace of the work, took him now for a god, with a little before was but honor. And this was an occasion to deceive the world. For man, serving either calamity or tyranny, did ascribe unto stones and stocks the immutable name. Moreover, this was not enough for them, that they erred in the knowledge of God. But whereas they live in the great war of ignorance, those so great plagues called thy peace, Saki called they peace. For what they slew their children in sacrifices, or used secret ceremonies, or made revealings of strange rites.
Salakia. Con, so you guys are getting this. Also,
Mm.
this is where you get your superstition.
Oh,
Okay, you get these stupid dressing. The Pope wearing that corny gown that he wear, looking like a vampire. The multitude. He was a man, but now he's honored as a god. Okay, it's to deceive you. The calamity, the incommunicable name, moreover, was not enough for them. All right, the war of ignorance. Thus, so great plagues is called peace, sacrificing the children, secret ceremonies, the Illuminati, the what's those people called? The stones. Let me see. I think it's the ones, the bones, and the masons, and all this stuff, revealing strange rites. Like all this stuff is real. Is the world going mad? No, no, world ain't going mad. It's the people that set forth that's put over you that is making the world. Continue, brother. I think you're on verse 24.
Tom, verse 24. They kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled, but either one slew another traitorously or grieved him adultery, grieved him by adultery,
Hmm.
so that there reigned in all men without exception blood, manslaughter, theft, and dissimulation, corruption, unfaithfulness, tumults, perjury,
Hmm.
disquieting of good men, forgetfulness of good turns, defiling of souls, changing of kind, disordered in marriages, adultery, and shameless uncleanness. For the worshiping of idols not to be named is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil.
Con. So I wanted to bring that out. It was a lot. The water
Ah,
came.
that's awesome.
Um, yeah, I mean, that's that, guys, you guys got to get into this. Like, this is what it is. All right, this is during a Hellenistic time. This is during the Greeks. All right. So from the ages of, I say, 12 to 16, most people in this country either, this is of course with the opposite sex, either had sex, kissed somebody, had a girlfriend, boyfriend. That's wrong. This is what all this has come from. All this shameless uncleanness. How you 15 years old coming to your dad talking about, hey dad, can I go to my boyfriend house? I wish my daughter would. Even when I was a young boy, my cousins was like, what? You got a boy? Girl, you better get up out of here. Now, I'm doing my thing, but that's my girl cousin. Now I know what these dudes are into. We all say the same thing. And this is where and I'm just using that as an example because as we get older, nobody can seem to hold a relationship because everybody been doing everything since they was under 20 years old. And for some reason, how is that accepted? And I always bring this up to friends and families, like, look at this. And it tells you right here in the scriptures. They kept neither lives nor marriages any longer. Under what time we in, people? We have the highest rate of divorce. Yeah, the black community right now. Why? Is it because Eve want to be by herself? Nah, there's like 300,000 of them got fired. So it's how, even though it is the curses, however, comma, um, we have to do better when it comes to raising our children. We have to do better when it comes when you courting a man and you have a question. This man keep putting his hand on me. No, don't go shoot him, sister, 16 times. Go get one of your brothers. Yes, most of y'all got brothers or uncles or somebody. Now, if you don't got nobody, okay, come to one of the brothers that's in the truth. Now, you can't be beating the dude up and vice versa. Dude, you can't be beating her up talking about, she never want to come home, or you beating the man up talking about, he's always, whatever. So what I'm trying to say is if we continuously be of this world is going to look mad to us and everything is going to look real small and tight. It's going to confound us if we keep living like this is all we know. These scriptures free us up. It just told you right here. Moreover, this was not enough for them. They erred in the knowledge of God, but whereas they lived in great war of ignorance. What does ignorance mean? not knowing. So what does the white man keep doing? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put this out. Trump, go ahead and get this. I need you to do this. We hold on. Why are we worrying about Trump? If you're not an illegal immigrant, if you're not married to an illegal immigrant, if you are an illegal immigrant and you're doing well, they ain't coming to your crib. You know what I'm saying? I see them all the time. They be down Home Depot chilling. Ain't nobody has anybody seen Home Depot get raided?
Never, but so they out there.
Thank you, brother. All right. And my brother's on here. He lives in California. Home Depot is full of uh our Northern Kingdom brothers and sisters. Have you ever seen any ICE vehicles at Costco and Home Depot and Lowe's? No, he hasn't. I'm sure he would comment on that. We go to home. I just went to Home Depot. Now, this Home Depot, I don't really be seeing them out there, but in the hoods, I always see them. They listen. It's why when people, it's so frustrating. They know everything. Most of these illegals, they have cell phones. Okay? They have to communicate because they talk to their people back home. They can get these phones, all this stuff from the phone companies. They can triangulate and find you if they want to. That's money and time. They're not worrying about that. All right. This is all a game. Like the elder put out. Israel just waved a whole bunch of air missiles and air attack, you know. And I'm like, what are they? It's freaking Palestine. They act like it's the size of Pennsylvania. I don't know how big Palestine is, but it ain't that big. I don't even know how they still got people alive as much stuff as Israel doing. Lord in Christ. So again, brothers and sisters, all right, this is um, I don't want to beat it down too much, but you guys, he read the scriptures. You guys, it's self-explanatory. Secret ceremonies, and the biggest one on here, was the verse 22. Moreover, this was not enough for them that they erred in the knowledge of God, but whereas they lived in the great war of ignorance. So they erred, which, error of knowledge of God, those so great plagues call they peace. Dude, it's the same thing what's going on. A lot of the stuff we learn is from the Greeks and the Romans, and they still have that because these are white people. They still have that spirit I mean, they are of Esau, but they still carry the same spirit. Okay, they have no care for you. Um, they have no care. They will slice your throat and just watch you bleed to death and go to the next person. And I think what has to happen is a lot of people got to see this to believe it, and seeing is believing, right? But no, we read in these scriptures, this is a real thing. So right now we are at war, but again, the brothers we out here fishing, we're in a spiritual warfare and a physical warfare, but at the same time, we are still, we use wisdom and we keep fishing. So disquieting of good men, forgetfulness of good turns, defying the souls, like this is what happens, disorder in marriages. This is all going on now. How you with a woman for 2 months and then y'all like, all right, I can't do it. We have to, we got to go get counseling. A lot of our people got to get therapy themselves. If every time you get mad at your husband, you go in the bathroom and cut yourself because you're a cutter, you need help. Every time as a man, you get in an argument with your wife and you go bang, Sharita and Sequita. Hopefully ain't nobody named that. All right. Then you know, you need to go get help, brother. All right. You can't be going out here sleeping around with all these women or whatever else people are into, sleeping with dolls. Oh, it's a doll. As a brother, Salaki. That's crazy. That dude crashed out. But yeah, listen, Cheating is cheating. It was a dog, it's cheating. All right. Dog, whatever. Cat, raccoon, two women, one woman, whatever. Um it's all uh illicit relations. Okay. So again, let's try to make this thing work. If sisters, you have a problem, talk to some of your brothers. Brothers, you have a problem, talk to some of your elder brothers and stuff like that. Because nobody want to be in nobody relationship. But again, we like, oh man, the world's going mad. I'm gonna be by myself and this, but you're a good man. You make a woman happy. You can have some wives or a wife, whatever it is you want. But again, women, you guys just have to get certain spirits on you. It's not worth it to go ahead and stab a guy or do whatever else because that means your world is mad. Man, you out here jealous that your girl getting out of the car and she get back in the car and tell you something stupid and you go shoot the dude. Man, your world is mad. Not the world is going mad, your world is mad. So this is basically what this class is on. So as Israelites, we stay strong, we continue to endure. We just came out of the Feast of Tabernacles. All right. We got to keep enduring this thing. We're going to get a feast of dedication, beating the crap out of Esau. You know what I'm saying? Building our temple. All right. So this is what, this is what happened. So um I just wanted to go in a little bit on that. So again, at the end of the day, there's nothing new under the sun. So relax. We are going through perilous times. So perilous times are what? Perilous means it's full of danger or risk, exposed to imminent risk or disaster or ruin. So at any time, it can go from full of a danger to imminent risk of a disaster. So it can go down at any given time. You could be walking in the mall and all of a sudden Esau starts shooting because, somebody stole his AI dial. You know what I'm saying? They downloaded his AI dial getting banged out or whatever. I don't know. So again, I got one more video for you guys. Um, and this is, we always talk about this wicked woman. I ain't even gonna say her name, but this video, it's a pretty good video. I watched it and I was like, all right, this kind of breaks it down because typically you hear about her and you hear about spurts and stuff, but this really go into lengthy detail. It's not like a 30-minute video, all right, but it's a little bit. So we're gonna just get some scriptures, and and we want you guys to know that Esau, the female, she's just as worse as Esau, the man. Okay, do not sleep on this woman. All right, do not sleep on her. Now, some of y'all married to white women and stuff.
Oh,
Go ahead, Kane.
oh no, I was just saying, Con, I was agreeing with you.
Oh, Con, the water. Yeah, she is something else. Okay, she had no sympathy in sleeping with so-called, black men, and then saying that she got raped, and watch them cut off Deuce Johnson, feed it to him, and then set him on fire. She ain't had no problem with that. You know, that's that's crazy. You know, to chop somebody up and stuff like that. You got blood all on you, bones and stuff. People don't think about that stuff. You chopping somebody up, bones and shit going all on you. Like when I was in Iraq and stuff, man, there's people crazy over there. Every night we used to hear somebody being thrown into the Tigris River. Oosh. We just be sitting there like, all right, you hear all night long. I'm like, they never stop shooting. And they just throwing bodies and heads and stuff. People over there, man, they was wild. That was a crazy time over there. But that's what it's gonna be like. You know what I'm saying? So prepare for war, you know. So you guys gotta go out there and hold on, Salakia. Yeah, Salakia. So you guys gotta have my thing wrong. So you guys gotta go out there and prepare for war and stuff. And you gotta have that spiritual strength. You can't be a coward. Just do what you do. And the Most High put that spirit on you to soldier through, to have that resilience. Okay. And that's just with anything. You get laid off or whatever. Yes. Is the world going mad? It's the people that's in it, not the world itself. This world ain't going nowhere. But the world that we live in, that we that we serve under, Salaki, that we serve under, um, is just crazy. As Tyson always say, it's ludicrous. All right. So let me go ahead and play this video for you guys. And anybody want to talk about it, we can talk about it if I bring out some scriptures. But as soon as I play it, y'all already gonna know who it is. All right. All right. Here we go. All right.
Margaret Slee, president of America's Planned Parenthood Federation, maintains that European women should stop having babies for the next 10 years.
But Mrs. Slee, in this country, having babies is the only thing left which is both unrationed and untaxed. Do you think you really ought to stop?
Well, I suppose something like that is really so personal that it's entirely up to the parents to decide. But from my view, I believe that there should be no more babies.
The term eugenics is basically a set of beliefs and practices that aim to improve the genetic quality of the human population. Historically, by excluding people and groups judged to be inferior and promoting those judged to be superior. There have been various applications of eugenics, perhaps the most famous being the Germans before and during World War II, which was condemned by the Nuremberg war crimes trials. But the Germans did not invent eugenics. In fact, they were inspired by the founder of the taxpayer-funded Planned Parenthood. The truth behind the genesis of that organization and its founder are much darker than most Americans realize. Who was the real Margaret Sanger? Why was she heralded by the Third Reich as the greatest socialist in America? Why do modern Democrats who claim to support the African American population justify presenting her as a cultural icon? Hello, I'm Colin Heaton, veteran of the United States Army and Marine Corps, former history professor, book author. Welcome to this episode of The Gut.
Introducing the only prescription hair regrowth gummy on the market, the Minoxidil Plus Biotin Gummy by hers, formulated.
Margaret Sanger was born on September 14, 1879 in Corning, New York. She is an icon to left-wing groups due to her founding of Planned Parenthood in October 1916 with her sister Ethel Byrne and Fanny Mendel, which was the first birth control clinic in Brownsville, Brooklyn, New York. 9 days.
Shalakia, Brownsville, Brooklyn, right? And it was created in 1916. Just keep listening. World War I started when? Exactly, 1914.
Later, police raided the clinic and arrested all the people involved in promoting birth control, which was illegal. Sanger refused to pay the fine and spent 30 days in jail. She then traveled the country preaching her concept. Sanger then founded the American Birth Control League in 1921. Sanger also endorsed 1927 decision Buck v. Bell.
And so just for a little history, in the 1920s, it was the golden age. That was the year that they allowed white women to vote. And that was also because there were some things where as though black men was, we were going to World War I in 1914 and 1917, and the black man was still taking care of the black woman. And so show my face. And so therefore, um there was a law that came out. I just heard about this. Basically, the white people was complaining about the black women not working. So in the 1920s, during the golden years, the white people was able to make it a law that black women couldn't stay home and be housewives. Huh? Little gem for y'all. Okay, let me keep going.
In which the Supreme Court ruled that states could forcibly sterilize people deemed unfit without their consent and sometimes without their knowledge. This American law would be the major defense at Nuremberg for the Nazi defendants who were doctors practicing Sanger's methods, and many would be found not guilty as a result of this defense. In 1939, Sanger began what was called the Negro Project, alongside black leaders like W.E.B. Du Bois, Harry McLeod Bethune, and Reverend Adam Clayton Powell. This was the plan to have black doctors performing on black patients to perpetuate the sterilization of blacks who were deemed inferior, as many black patients were suspicious of white doctors. Following upon Sanger's eugenics platform, disguised as giving women access to birth control, the ABCL became Planned Parenthood Federation of America in 1942 after birth control was no longer considered illegal, at least among married couples. During this period, Sanger had critics and supporters. Supporters even today claim that she condemned abortion, arguing that it would not be needed if every woman had access to birth control. What they leave out is that Sanger only opposed abortions if that meant not producing the best, healthiest, most intelligent from Caucasian couples. For blacks, Jews, and brown-skinned people, as well as low IQ white people and those with birth defects, they were not to be allowed. This was what the Nazis adopted. Ironically, in 1966, Planned Parenthood began issuing its Margaret Sanger Awards annually to honor individuals of distinction in recognition of excellence in leadership in furthering reproductive health and reproductive rights. However, the organization very quietly and without any fanfare stopped this practice as Black Lives Matter rose to prominence. It would have been seen as the height of hypocrisy to have the liberal-backed domestic terror group that attacked white America connected to Sanger, a Democrat darling who wanted to exterminate blacks. In fact, the last recipient of the award listed on the website is Dr. Willie Parker in 2015. Then it just quietly disappeared. Parker was an abortionist known for his contentious claims that his Christian faith influenced his work. He was accused of sexual assault in 2019, which he denied, but he still resigned from all of his professional positions in 2020. Other recipients of the Margaret Sanger Award include House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and actresses Jane Fonda and Katharine Hepburn. Margaret Sanger was one of the few women to be given an honorific title and inducted into the Ku Klux Klan, and exalted by none other than Adolf Hitler and Dr. Joseph Goebbels. She was friends with the racist Democratic President Woodrow Wilson, Democratic fundraiser, and automobile maker Henry Ford, who was also friends with Adolf Hitler and a rabid anti-Semite and hater of Black Americans. Margaret Sanger's rabid racism, anti-Semitism, and violent suggestions on eliminating all non-whites from American society endeared her to the eugenics crowd. She wanted an all-white, healthy, intelligent society built upon the concept of racial eradication years before Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party were even a thought. In 1934, the Nazi Party adopted her radical positions, with Goebbels saying, "Margaret Sanger is the best National Socialist in America." In fact, the September 15, 1935 Nuremberg laws classified races according to an insane chart drafted by Dr. Wilhelm Stuckart and Dr. Friedrich Kritzinger. The official name was the Reich Citizenship Law and the Law for the Protection of German Blood and German Honor. These laws embodied many of the racial theories underpinning Nazi ideology, which they adapted from Margaret Sanger. These laws could provide the legal framework for the systematic persecution of Jews in Germany, who at that time were deemed a race and not a religion, and the eugenics behind them were taken from the world of Sanger. In fact, her theories and opinions influenced men like SS Captain Dr. Josef Mengele, the Beast of Auschwitz, and his associates, Dr. Karl Klauberg, Dr. Herta Oberhäuser, Hitler's personal physician, Dr. Karl Brandt, just to name a few. When Hitler authorized the Action T4 euthanasia program to murder the handicapped, mentally ill, and other undesirables from German society, the doctors and nurses were given the program directly from Margaret Sanger's own philosophy. On August 18, 1939, the Reich Ministry of the Interior circulated a decree requiring all physicians, nurses, and midwives to report newborn infants and children under the age of 3 who showed signs of severe mental or physical disability.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
The man who started the program was Dr. Karl Brandt, and they were disguised as children's clinics and advertised they would treat their abnormalities and infirmities. In fact, they were death centers, where the children were quietly killed and the cause of death misrepresented as by others.
Do y'all hear that? This is what happens. They went ahead and get rid of this stupid ad. Hold on. So they went ahead and create these centers to kill your children. And what you think they're doing in America? Is the world going mad? No, Margaret Sanger, she had Hitler. She was such a demon, such a devil. The Nazi party adapted this woman's, this is crazy right here. And they taking these kids, even though they Esau, you know. But this is what they was doing to our children, especially during slavery. And they didn't have no physical defects or anything like that for the most part. So he was over there killing these children, killing blacks that was over there, because they never showed the blacks that he killed. So-called blacks, Slovakia.
The means such as pneumonia, tuberculosis, etc. Dr. Brandt himself claimed that Sanger's methods were most effective and, if performed correctly, are ingenious. In Sanger's own words, she peddled racism, eugenics, contraception, abortion, while demonstrating a visceral hatred for children, parenthood, marriage, and the Catholic Church. The following quotes are directly from Margaret Sanger's own writings and interviews. 1. The most merciful thing that the large family does to one of its infant members is to kill it. 2. A marriage license shall in itself give husband and wife only the right to a common household and not the right of parenthood. 3. All of our problems are the result of overbreeding among the working class. Knowledge of birth control is essentially moral. Its general, though prudent, practice must lead to a higher individuality and ultimately to a cleaner race. 4. Blacks, soldiers, and Jews are a menace to the human race. 5. The masses of Negroes, particularly in the South, still breed carelessly and disastrously, with the result that the increase among Negroes, even more than among whites, is from that portion of the population least intelligent and fit. 6. Birth control appeals to the advanced radical because it is calculated to undermine the authority of the Christian churches. I look forward to seeing humanity free someday of the tyranny of Christianity, no less than capitalism. 7. Every single case of inherited defect, every malformed child, every congenitally tainted human being brought into this world is of infinite importance to that poor individual. But it is scarcely less important to the rest of us and to all of our children who must pay in one way or another for these biological and racial mistakes. 8. It now remains for the United States government to set a sensible example to the world by offering a bonus for a yearly pension to all obviously unfit parents who allow themselves to be sterilized by harmless and scientific means. Margaret Sanger, the woman heralded by the Democrats and left-wing ideologues in the United States for positions on women's reproductive rights, always failed to include her genocidal positions on ethnic cleansing. She died on September 6, 1966 in
Oh,
Tucson, Arizona.
praises.
But Margaret Sanger was not alone. The late Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg said in a New York Times interview, "Frankly, I had thought that at the time Roe was decided, there was concern about population growth, and particularly growth in populations that we don't want to have too many of." In Elle magazine, Ginsburg also stated that poor people should have ready access to abortions because it makes no sense as a national policy to promote birth only among poor people. In 2015, out of $1.29 billion in total revenue, 553.7 million came from the government reimbursing Planned Parenthood for their services. In 2020, Planned Parenthood performed 383,460 abortions, the highest number of abortions it has yet reported, and an increase of nearly 28,600 from the previous year. And in the United States, the abortion rate for Black women is almost 5 times that for white women. In July 2020, Planned Parenthood quietly removed Margaret Sanger's name from its headquarters in Manhattan, New York. Obviously, the Times had caught up with Margaret Sanger. Thank you for watching Forgotten History. Please click like, subscribe, and share. Send us comments and show ideas, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Until now.
God. Man, y'all see that woman? Somebody probably was smashing it though. Men are just crazy. That woman looked like, what the hell does she look like? She looked like, damn, what's that? I think it's a thing from Snorks. No, not Snorks. What is that darn? It's this thing that got like eyes up here. She was ugly. That's number one. Number two, she was like, she was funny looking. Like she was, they could have, if she was born during the time she was creating all this, they would have offed her, for being deformed and stuff. Man, I cannot think of that cartoon. She looked just like that thing. But yeah, yeah, that woman was crazy. She was so wicked that they used that during the Nuremberg trials, and no one was found guilty. And they don't never put down. We heard about the Nuremberg trials, but I watched the movie. I ain't never heard them talk about Margaret Sanger. Maybe they did. I was a young boy when I watched it, and I didn't hear Margaret Sanger at that time, you know. But Pan Hood, man, Lord in Christ, that place is crazy, And for her to say those things, and Woodrow Wilson, we do know that he was the first president to play the movie at the White House. And the name of that movie, that's it. That thing from freaking Ice Age. There we go. I knew it. This thing right here. Yeah, that's what she remind me of. That's the thing from Ice Age. I forget his name. He was funny. But anyway, um, yeah, Israel. Let me get man, I tell you, that woman was so wicked. Just watching that, and Hillary, Nancy, all these white women promoting it, even that white judge in the Supreme Court. So let's get the classic. Let's get Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16. Baba Kusha. So again, this video, we watched it in its entirety, and this woman, however common, this sums up her wickedness. So let's get Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16, Baba Kusha.
Come on, this is the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, and verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
God, Esau, just foul. So she was killing artistic people who had physical deficiencies. They could have been great scientists or whatever, This woman didn't have no kids, didn't have a husband. How don't people see that's off? If you ain't got a husband, a side dude, a left dude, what else? A cuddy buddy, something, you know, a illegitimate child somewhere, and you out here telling people to kill kids. How women didn't see that? Her lips was smooth as butter, but she had war in her heart. Yes. I tell you, sometimes I think them white women, they worse than the men, man. They are crazy. And let's just get some scriptures about how crazy the white woman is. So let's bring this out. We got to bring out another classic. Let's get the book of Mark versus correction. Let's get the book of Mark, chapter 6, verse 21 through 28. Barbecue shop.
This is the book of Mark, chapter 6, beginning at verse 21. And when a convenient day was come, that Herod on his birthday made a supper to his lords, high captains and chief estates of Galilee. And when the daughter of the said Herodias came in and danced, and pleased Herod and them that sat with him, the king said unto the damsel, ask me of whatsoever thou wilt, and I will give it thee. And he swore unto her, whatsoever thou shalt ask of me, I will give it thee. Unto the half.
Shalakia. Yeah, Kai, he was up there feeling himself. He up there fronting like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, girl? Yeah, this is what you, hey, look, this is I got this. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you want. You know, you want that horse, you want that castle, you want that carriage, whatever you want. You want the finest linen. I got you. Go ahead, Op.
And unto the half of my kingdom. 24. And she went forth and said unto her mother, what shall I ask? And she said, the head of John the Baptist. And she came in straightway in haste unto the king, and asked, saying, I will that thou give me by and by in charge the head of John the Baptist. And the king was exceedingly sorry, yet for his own sake, and for the sakes which sat with him, he would not reject her. And immediately the king sent an executor and commanded his head to be brought. And he went and beheaded him in the prison, and brought his head in a charger, and gave it to the damsel, and the damsel gave it to her mother.
God. Esau women is just as wicked. I mean, her mom, she didn't lose a beat. She's like, Mom, man, what you think I should ask for? Her daughter wasn't trying to have a man's head. Her mom was like, you better get JB. Yeah, get him. Cause you know what he did to me. He embarrassed me. You know he did something to her. You know what I'm saying? He must have, we'll be out there at camp and he must have took her soul or something. Made her feel because I mean, out of nowhere, you know, she's like John the Baptist. Her daughter was like, "Oh, okay, mom, you want somebody head, really?" And her daughter took the head like, "I don't want to hear, mom." You know what I'm saying? And she's just as wicked as her mom because she went through it. She ain't even try to talk her mom out of it. You know what I'm saying? So I want to bring out a couple scriptures of Esau women, man. They're out of control. When you think that white woman is pleasant to you, you go to the social office and you got your child, and they're like, hey, is everything good at home? I tell you this, use wisdom. Because as soon as you were like, it's hard, I don't know where his daddy at, and it's rough times, here come them people. Your child will be in foster care or in one of them group homes, learning how to sell fentanyl or whatever they be doing. We all heard about the group homes. Some of y'all probably been in group homes. May not been a bad experience, but I heard a lot of bad stuff. I had family members in it, friends that was in it. I heard some good stuff, I heard some bad stuff. Same thing in the juvenile detention center. You hear good stuff, you hear bad stuff. So again, before you start doing things, and just know that the male and female version of Esau, the female version of Esau is just like him, sometimes even worse. All right. We saw 12 years a slave. Out of nowhere, she ran up and cut that girl. And the husband ain't do nothing. Then she took her soap so she would stink, and the husband was still having sex with her. That's 12 years a slave. So again, everyone, we just want y'all to know that the world that we live in, that we call America and stuff like that, some of us is all over the world. The world that we live in is not the world that the Most High is happy with. So we just have to go ahead and follow these law, statutes, and commandments. And again, there's nothing new under the sun. So contrary to popular belief, you know, in my opinion, she worse than the man because she's just something else, man. She literally had a whole people follow her and deem certain people to be unfit. They adopted her whole program. This is Margaret Sanger. You guys saw it. Hopefully she suffered before she died. She had like cancer or something. What's that one? Anal cancer, pancreas, whatever. Hopefully she had some crazy stuff where she just suffered for 2 years. Actually, hopefully she suffered 5 years before she died. And that was a wicked, wicked woman. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and anybody got any questions or anything? So hopefully everybody, was spiritually fed, with the honey and the milk. And like I said, it was on my mind to bring out with all the brothers, bringing out different classes and stuff, and everything that's going on in the world. We just, figured, is the world going mad? And the answer is no. We done gave you all the scriptures, the layout, couple videos explaining that there's nothing new under the sun. So don't go into panic. Trump is going to come knock down my door. He's going to steal my kids. He's going to take my dog, this and that. I don't worry about all that. Just keep Charlie Miking, which stands for continue mission. Keep continuing mission. And we'll be okay, Israel. Most high willing. All right. So let's close out with Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verses 13 through 14, Baba Kasha.
God. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and 12. And further, by these, my son. You said 12, right? Or 13? 12?
Oh, my bad. 13. My bad. Yeah,
God.
hold on.
12 and
Yeah, yeah.
13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
Con. Yeah, yeah, you was right. Yeah, I meant 13 and 14. Salakia, the Water King. Con. So let us hear the whole conclusion, everyone. Fear God and keep his commandments, all right? And that'll prove to you that, this world we live in, you just gotta you guys like it's really simple. It's almost like when someone's talking to you and you're ignoring them, or not ignoring them, you're not listening to them, you're just blowing them off. Well, that's what you have to do to this world. Now, I didn't say don't pull over when you see them blue and red lights. Brother Hashar didn't say that. What I'm saying is that you just have to not pay attention to certain things that surround you because they will affect you. It's real easy to do. When you women give your husband a silent treatment, well, you need to give the Christian church a silent treatment, or KFC or McDonald's. Same thing, fellas. When your boy owe you like $20, and every time you see him, you're like, I ain't talking to. You got to do the same thing with this Christianity, with the heathens' feast days, with their holidays. It's hard. Everybody want the Christmas tree and this and I don't know the ham for Easter and what's coming up? We got Halloween and stuff, and then we got Halloween and we got Thanksgiving. All right, Hallow's Queen. So we got all these dumb holidays coming up, and every year thousands of people die on Halloween. You know what I'm saying? On Thanksgiving, there's always a house burning down that's cooking that nasty food. Brothers being there with turkey, like I'm gonna fry it. Yeah. Ah man, all I got is a kerosene heater. I'm gonna put it on the kerosene heater. Yeah, you go ahead and put that joint on the kerosene heater if you want. And that's what happened. I think somebody was frying a turkey one year on a kerosene heater. And oh, come on, man, all that grease. I don't know if you guys, some of y'all may not know what a kerosene heater is, but I think they still making them. But if you grew up in the 80s, you knew what a kerosene heater was. And yes, I had plenty of dinners on a kerosene heater. And you sit up there, a little heat, and get a little kerosene and put it in there, and everybody hauled around it, even the roaches. Like, come on, everybody. The mice, they putting their all hands out and stuff, you know. So I remember this is Kevin Hart joke. He said he had took his bag from this guy house was messy, and he opened up the bag and there was a roach in there, and the roach was like, "Thank you." I was like, that's crazy. When a roach say thank you, that had to be a dirty house. Because roaches, they love it, but he was like, man, I appreciate you. So again, that's back in the day. And so with that being said, thanks everybody for joining into the class. Hopefully, you guys got a mighty lesson today. But it was Lammy back off on what the Sabbath was about, what Thursday night class, Wednesday, like all these different things. All these the UFOs and all this different stuff that's been going on with the brothers who be doing other classes. I always try to, land me back. And it's in the spirit, So before anybody say I'm done with this, y'all Hebrew Israelites are crazy. No, Christianity's crazy. They got a whole tranny in churches talking about come as you are, looking at your son, looking at your 14-year-old son. You know what I'm saying? So, men, women, let's go ahead and get it together. Let's continue to push this truth. Let's continue to get our kids more involved and stop handing them the tablet, talking about be quiet, sit in the back, and let's do what we need to do so we can get up out of here, most high willing. So, brother Yakazan is not on. He always do the Lord's Prayer. Do you know the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew?
Con.
All right. And we do the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. I'll do the English version. And everybody can, go ahead and um get ready, get some downtime for work tomorrow. And I appreciate everybody tuning in to the class tonight. So again, is the world going mad? No, no, it's this is what's going on in this capitalist socialist society that they call Earth right now. Esau's running things. So we keep doing what we do and we keep getting the blessings. And eventually all these plagues and these trumpets are finished. And then we can go ahead and get up out of here. Go ahead, King. Oh, and everybody face the east, okay? Oh.
This is the Lord's Prayer. And Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kadash, Haya, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwata, Taba'a, Batazayaka, Haya, Asha, Baharatasa, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Nathanga Lanawa, Lakam, Ka, Lawam, Wasalaku Lanawa, Kawabak with an hour, Kasalaku with an hour, Kawabak with an hour, Waya, Tabinat, Shinawa, Banasai Yayawam, Abba, Hawak, Hashanaya, Shanawa Salaki, Mayan, Ra, Gaya, Laka, Hamalakawa, Walaala, Waat, Tapa'ara, Lawai Lamyam, Man.
God. Thank you for the mighty read. All right, brothers and sisters, we're going to go ahead and do it in English. That'll be the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 9. God, our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. God. Yeah, sorry if I sounded like Darth Vader a little bit. This mic I got. This thing's pretty cool. Like you can take it out to the camp and you can talk in it and then exercise your voice.
I hear that.
Huh?
No, I said, yeah, I hear that.
Yeah. I didn't even know it did that. One day I was just like, I turned it on and I just thought it was just a microphone. I didn't know it had the speaker in the back. I was like, oh, this is cool. It's like $40. So I might invest in another one because I don't know how long the charge is. So when this one go dead, just charge up and this connects to your it can connect to your phone. So whereas though you on Facebook and you can just speak into this and everybody will hear you and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. All right. So thanks everyone for tuning in. So HOI to the chariots fly, death to America, and Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.